Hello Internet, I'm Amster Bomb and you are back for another figure review video, and it has been a really long time since I've been able to show you guys one of these, and this is really probably one of the most amazing and impressive figures that I've been able to show yet. This is incredible. I don't even want to touch it and mess with it right now, as you guys can see, and it's been pretty awesome to get this one showing up right now. This is the Metal Gear Rex completely posable model figure. This is amazing. I'm going to be able to show you guys this thing today. There's a whole lot of other stuff that comes with him, and I'm going to go through all that stuff with you guys, and some more information about like putting them together, warning stuff, or things you should know if you're really interested in getting this figure. I'm really excited to show him now because I actually, as you guys know, just recently finished my playthrough of Metal Gear Solid. And you can all watch that in a link in the description down below. So that is amazing. Also, this is a perfect place to let you all know the playthrough I am doing now of Metal Gear Solid 2 is going to be coming out in this week, so stay tuned for that pilot episode. But anyway, we want to take a good look at this amazing Metal Gear Rex. Now, I really wanted to point out a couple things really quickly. As you guys know, I love showing stuff like the box and the little extra stuff before I get into the actual figure, or the model in this case. And the reason I really want to do that here is because the first thing that you may get misleaded about is the painting, and specifically with the itty-bitty little figures. I'm going to grab one of them here. So for example, these itty-bitty little figures are not painted. I actually painted this itty-bitty little gray fox, okay? So you have to actually take these guys and paint them yourself. They come in like a skin tone looking color when you first get them, and it's not good. It doesn't look good at all. You gotta paint them. And it took a very long time, very freaking long time to actually get these guys painted, but you will get 4 of these little people. And the reason I'm bringing them up now is because the only things that are painted in my entire kit that I'm going to show you guys today in this video are my little people. Because I figure, well, I really wanted to get them painted, but 2, I wanted to show you guys what Rex looks like when he is completely unpainted. Now, if you guys want to see my Rex painted, as you know, I can paint super tiny and detailed like this, and I will spend a long time making sure that he looks awesome. You can let me know down in the description. I will show you guys if you want me to show you. Let's get the little people out of the way first. So as you saw, you get a gray fox with his mask up, as he would be in that final scene in Metal Gear Solid where you are fighting the Metal Gear Rex. This is another gray fox, and the camera is like not cooperating. There it goes. That is being crushed after losing his arm. As you see, I had him under his foot, which is, I'm assuming, the intention to display him like, because you're going to get 2 different variations of him. I would recommend actually using silver and gold for his yellow and the white of the helmet. Makes him look more metallic, and the blue I use is actually more of a matte. I do want to mention the skin tone color that they come in. I never really used much of it. I'll talk more about it when I show you the liquid painting. But, oh gosh, here's Snake holding his stinger as I just dropped him. But most of the time when I wanted to use the skin tone, come on camera, the skin tone, I instead ended up using like a dab of a lighter brown and letting it soak into the little cracks into these figures. These little things are extremely detailed, and as you can see how hard it is just for me to even move them around to show you guys, he's not all just black. I put all sorts of grays all over him to show his different levels of detail all over. What I did that really helped paint him, especially on those different grays and blacks, I coated him with black first, painted the grays on, and then I took like a little micron pen, the smallest one possible, and drew all the outlines of all the little things on him. Really makes these things look really good. Liquid, he actually does, as you see, sits inside of the Metal Gear, so that's pretty amazing that he's actually able to sit in here and ride inside, so you can do all the reposing and stuff from the game itself. I'm going to pop him out, though, so that we can take a closer look at him. Ooh, okay, yeah, he had to spit him out there. It's kind of difficult getting liquid in and out. It's not too bad, but just for the sake of the video, trying to do everything, you know, in front of a camera, it's a little difficult sometimes. So try and get our camera to once again cooperate so we can see up close how I got Liquid looking. For the most part, this is pretty close to what they showed and had in the intention of expecting you to paint these things. It's very difficult, like I said. Once again, I painted him with different varying colors of skin tone because the one that is default, that these things are kind of cast in, is not a really good skin tone color. It's kind of funny looking, honestly. I don't really care for it. And he has this peg here that will let him sit inside of the Metal Gear. Obviously, that is how that goes. The chest, honestly, on Liquid was the hardest part because of that skin tone color, like I was saying. So what I actually did was after coating him in a different, I think a better color for the skin tone, I then dipped a really small marker, or I'm sorry, a brush into some lighter brown color and very lightly brushed it onto him, and it kind of sunk into him, like I was saying with the other pieces. Use like the little wet, just a little bit of water mixed with that paint, and it'll kind of sink into those cracks, because those things are really detailed, really amazingly detailed for how small they are, and they are all scaled 1 to 100, so they are scaled properly with Rex here. But that is actually not all the extra little goody stuff that comes with him. I am going to get to him in just a moment. I know he's absolutely amazing and we really want to see him, but there's a couple more things I do want to show really quick. First of all, he does have a base. He doesn't actually need it, which is amazing because of these big things that come out of the back of his leg. So I'm going to move him off to the side just so we can take a look at his base. Obviously, is a 1/100. The thing is, when Rex stands on this, and by the way, this plastic piece here that I have in the center can come out. It's just kind of hard to, there we go. So you can see it's got two pegs here. I can really peg it into not those on the sides, but any of these. And then if I wanted one of those on the sides, because you'll see some images online where people use that one, you just take that bottom part off, peg it here, and there you go. It is a very nice, sturdy base. And the thing is, this little plasticky part here, I'll show you later when we take a look at Rex himself, will stick on the underside of him, and that will allow you to pose him and hold him very sturdily, just in case you want to make him stand with those little leg flaps I just pointed at before those go up. Aside from that, there are these little clip things that are on the sides. I really don't know the point of those, because maybe if you had like a lot of these bases for some reason, yeah, you'd be able to like clip them all together and make like a really huge base, but yeah, I don't know how you were, intending on doing something like that. There's the bottom of it. But Rex is actually quite huge. I'm gonna bend that so you just don't even, see it on here at all. Rex is very huge, and assuming he stands on this thing the way I was doing it before, he can't. He really can't. He's a little too big for his own base. Which, is kind of awkward when you're trying to pose, say I had him standing like that, like I wanted to, Liquid sitting in there, and I want Snake to be looking up at him. Snake's got to be standing on the base somewhere, which means he's looking here, and, Liquid then has to be doing something like that to even see him, which, it's a little weird, but I've never, I don't really use this base, it's okay. Oh god, he's completely falling apart. Just... don't worry about that. Anyway, like what I was saying, when you build the thing yourself, you kind of know where it's falling apart. But anyway, like I said, I never really used that base at all. And because of that, I'm kind of just, familiar with the fact that I can pose them in almost any way that I want to, and I don't even need to use that base at all. That part obviously pops right in, like I was just saying. When pieces fall off of a model, you know exactly how to put it back together because you built the whole thing, which is actually one of the most fun parts of this figure completely, is getting it in so many little pieces and knowing that you're the one who built it. It was so much fun. I can actually show a picture right now of all of the parts that I got. Right when I laid everything out, I cleaned and washed all the parts so that when I painted it later, it wouldn't make a mess. And I laid them out, and I was getting ready to actually put them all together. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a ton of pieces. There's a ton of pieces. Before we actually start looking at Rex, one last thing. I do want to show you his box because it's amazing. Here we go, guys. This box is so huge, I had to actually turn my camera and move to even show it to you, and it is a metallic beauty it is, which is why I couldn't continue without showing you the actual box he comes in because it is glorious. There's all sorts of detail on here. It's really amazing. The actual illustrations that you see from Metal Gear Solid, the same artist is doing this box, and it's incredible. The size of this are really awesome as well. You're going to see some more images of Rex, and the thing is, they are a little misleading because they show a painted Rex. So that's why I wanted to show you stuff like this and talk about the fact that he does need to be painted before I go into the fact that I show you the Rex that I have in general. And that's also kind of misleading just for my video because these figures, as I just told you, do not come painted. And they painted their Gray Fox with yellow instead of gold, which I kind of think you should use gold instead, honestly. But anyway, that was just really quick. They are not going to come painted. He is not going to come painted. I believe there is a photo that they do have on here that shows an unpainted Rex, which doesn't really matter at this rate because we're just kind of taking a good gander at every shot that they got on here, which is pretty amazing. There we go. Actually, there is the only shot that you're going to see of the unpainted Rex, and I think there's an unpainted Liquid in there as well. Obviously, it's just cardboard on the bottom, and inside, it's going to sound like that. I, for some reason, decided to keep all of the extra little pieces. I really should just throw them away. There's no need. Just for those of you who are going to be putting it together, do not worry. There is like 3 parts on some of the joint, one of the joint pieces that you are not going to use. So when you finish the entire thing and you got like 3 parts left over that you didn't take apart, it's okay. That's supposed to happen. But other than that, you should use everything else in this guy, and some parts are extremely small, but we'll get into that right now. Let me move the camera back over again so you can take a look at Rex. Just kidding, I forgot to show you this really quickly. And yeah, that face before was kind of creepy as well. I'm sorry about that. This is the actual pamphlet that you're going to get, which is actually really helpful that I've had. And plus, it's a really awesome art book, actually, in the beginning, showing you some really cool images of Rex that is a different kind of painted version. It looks really cool that they have here. Some sketches of Rex. And then, of course, it's going to start getting into, after some more really, really awesome, phenomenal art. And these are actually really helpful guides for painting the figures as well, for matching patterns and stuff like that. I'm more than likely going to be using this as well for trying to match patterns. This is really great. It shows you all the information that you're going to be getting for the model pieces. And of course, there you go. There's a guide. Of course, unfortunately, it is in Japanese, but if you've done any installation of like IKEA parts or any other building Gundams and stuff like that, this isn't too difficult. The main piece of advice I can give you for completing this guy is just be very observant, because there's many times where there's a step within a step within a step within a step right there. This was one. This whole thing is one, and you really have to pay attention and make darn sure that you have the right parts. Don't cut anything out early that you don't need, and just be very patient. It's a lot of fun. It seriously is. I had so much fun building this thing, and I thought I was going to need a lot more help with it than I actually did. So there's a lot of extra little symbol things that they point out, and they try and tell you things about this. I think it really just means like pay attention. So honestly, just be very observant to what directions you see all these things in, and you'll be able to put them together, and all will be well. So after that, I just want to hurry up and show you the rest of this book, because there are some really cool points like they show you here. You can actually bend the Rex down, and apparently it can do like this docking pose, and I didn't even know that because it does not do that in Metal Gear Solid. It might do it in another Metal Gear game later, and it shows you how to move the legs back up, though I'll show you this in a bit. I would highly recommend you never actually close it like this, because it might not ever open again. But you'd have to probably take it apart in order to do so. Lots of other cool stuff that I'm going to show you in a bit on how Rex actually moves. This is for color matching, for trying to get some of these colors of your Rex, though if you type in Metal Gear Solid Rex model painted, you're going to see a lot more cool variations that people have come up with. And honestly, I might not even go with their kind of design here, but we'll see. Either way, this is an awesome spread that shows you exactly how they painted the one that they showed you in the images. So it's not like they gave you a model that you can't actually build, or like replicate exactly in the same way that they showed you originally. Now, bam. I'm sorry about all the extra stuff that I wanted to go through, but I really wanted to show you all that stuff first before we get into the big guy himself. Now, this is an absolutely incredible figure. I think one of my favorite parts about this is the fact that he is scaled 100 scale and actually has like the little people that go with him. I don't know, it makes it so amazing to actually like see it in its proper scale. Oh, it's so incredible. This thing took a very long time to build. I would say it took all of 3 days to build this thing for me, but honestly, it was one of my first models, so that might just be, me being completely crummy with models. I don't know, but to show you the actual movable parts, let's start with the head, because I usually start with the heads of figures. Now, this thing's probably got some of the best posability. It's kind of creaking there, but honestly, that's just some of those joints we put together. Now, you can't quite see from behind that leg, but you can see how I'm moving the head here. There's different joints. Actually, if I can turn it right there, you can kind of see in there. There's like a neck joint here. This thing moves on its own little ball joint, goes up and down, it goes side to side. It can twist completely around in any direction. This other part back in here goes up and down. Pretty much, you can move the head wherever you want to. This head is on like one of the most amazingly posable joints I've ever seen. And obviously the mouth will open and close, so you can completely conceal liquid inside if you want to do just a Rex pose where he is fighting like just purely with his radome for vision. So really incredible. You can do that. The detailing on this, I don't want to like spend too much time just looking at the actual details, because this is incredible. It's just as detailed as those itty bitty little people. And when I get to actually painting it, I'm sure I'm going to be pointing it out as well. I love the addition of the railing or the ladder that is on the back of his head too. So moving back to I guess the middle chest area, I'm not really sure where to go next. It's more one piece. This falls off a lot though. This like I showed you that gun as it fell off earlier, that falls off occasionally. It's only honestly done it like twice to me today. It's probably just not in there really snug. But his little dick laser down here, this thing falls out like all the time whenever you mess with it, but it does move. And pegs right in here into a little slot right there. So it should be pretty sturdy. If you don't like touch it or mess with it, it's not just gonna fall out on its own. It's just because I'm holding them and doing weird stuff with them, and the fact that some things might just fall out as I'm doing this. This back portion here does side to side wobble like so, and it is very sturdy with that, as you can kind of see here in the inside. And it can even hold itself up like that. That's a lot of weight, and it's still able to hold that up. So this is very strong, what is going on the inside of that thing. But this, there goes his dick laser again. But aside from that, I mean, this middle portion here where everything kind of comes together, the body, if you will, it really doesn't pose at all. It more kind of gives everything else the ability to move. Now, aside from that, this back portion here that we were kind of leading to has some really nice gold parts on it, and obviously connects these to the radome and the actual railgun. It has joints inside of there for those. Each one of these little guys here on the back will flip out and reveal, I assume, like a missile. Come on, let's show the nice people at home. There we go. Here's one of them. Anyway, they all do that. This one, 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 this one. They all do that, and I'm kind of just having an issue right now, doing it with a camera in front of me. Here, the railgun wants to fall again. Rex, you're just not cooperating today. Usually he poses very well and stays in shape for me, but today he's, I don't know, camera shy and starting to fall apart. There we go. I felt that time when I put the gun together, it went in there much more snug, which is awesome. So the railgun, actually, let's ignore the railgun for the moment. The actual radome will pivot right here, and also, if I move him over here, can pivot pretty far on here. So if I turn both, that can happen, which I don't know why you would, but you can. Can also twist up and down. So that's also got a decent amount of maneuverability. I can't move it any far that way if I really needed to. Other than that, these two little spiky things do not move, though I don't remember them ever needing to move anyway. Oh, actually one of them just came off. Most of the parts, if anything comes off, like, it's no big deal. Like, I don't feel bad at all if anything, like, kind of pops off on this guy, because, like, I built him. So it's actually, like, a lot of fulfillment, as opposed to, like, buying another figure where it's supposed to come in one piece. Like, if this guy came in one piece, I'd be, like, freaking out all the time because little pieces would come off. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? But, since you, like, literally built the entire thing, it's crazy. It's like, I feel like I know this, this model so well. just because I got to put it together. I'm trying to find a good way to even show you the railgun because it is enormous. I'm kind of bothered by mine just a little bit by the fact that these things kind of bow in. They don't quite touch though, so it doesn't really get on my nerves, but I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be more like that. You know what I mean? Instead of bowing in a bit. But regardless, it's still pretty awesome that this thing is even so big and even supported. It will have the exact same maneuverability as the radome, which is why I wanted to show that first. So it can pretty much be aimed in any direction that Rex is predominantly facing. So that's really awesome. The moving on to the legs, these are actually like, for me it was like half the battle of building him, was building the legs, and it's like half the book. It's the beginning half, really. You're going to start with making these giant parts, and you do all these intricate little things on the insides of these, and then you just completely obscure them with these big, chunky, blocky, gray parts. And I was like, oh my gosh, all that amazing work, which, as you guys saw, there's like turbine things in here that'll move the leg, if I can do it without dropping him, like this. And they'll come out and kind of expose extra stuff in there. That's about as far as it'll go. And I was like, man, I did so much work building all of the innards into each of these parts. And you're telling me now, when it's like, put these big gray things on and it's obscure it all. I was like, I kind of don't want to. He looked so cool like that, you know? So there is actually like so much going on inside of these things. Based off this model, I could totally see somebody using it as like a basis to actually build a real Rex, because it like makes sense when you get in there and you see what the parts are. It's kind of crazy how much obscured things that are really in there actually are in there to make him work. Now there are 3 of these little missile things that kind of attached to his leg. Also, like on the back, there's 3 of these little things that can pop up if they want to today. I never have really done it. Okay, this side kind of came up really easily. But anyway, there's just to show you guys, there are more of these things. That shadow is kind of blocking it. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 on the knees. I just happen to have them shut just because it's a little smoother looking. But if I had them, you know, all out shooting all sorts of missiles and whatnot, then of course I would have it open. So those, of course, are there as well. These parts in the knees I was talking about before when I was showing you guys the instruction manual. I said don't actually shut them. And by that I mean like this direction. Don't do that. Though Rex mainly does walk around like that, always leave enough space in there so that you can pull it back out again. Because in the book, it actually shows you just completely shutting them, which you can do. And if I shut these up too, sure, Rex would be a whole lot smaller. But the problem is, it's really hard to get them back out again. Like, you'd either have to get some sort of pliers, or what I did when I accidentally did that was I actually had to take the leg apart so I could push from the top to get that thing back out again. So now I kind of have a little bit of space so that those things are almost always exposed here. But it's mainly, well, one, it looks a little cooler because, like I was just kind of saying before, I don't want to hide all the fact that I did all this extra work on the inside of him because it's so cool looking. And the fact that, yeah, I don't ever want to accidentally shut them. So that's just an extra thing there. As we're moving down the leg, there are a couple like really cool details, like these little guards on the inside here. I don't know why, but Rex apparently has them. As we see on the back, there are these extra stands, which actually, for me, are really amazing because that keeps him from needing his other stand. You can bend this part back up here. It's also on a joint, so it can go up even higher and just lock into the back of his leg. This can still slide up if I wanted it to, all the way up here, and it still is not, like, the whole thing is completely functional, and you know, like, as you can see, that slides right into where you would expect it to go, and this part will slide right into the back too. So it's really cool, really handy piece right here. I enjoy it because it completely fits him. I'm glad that they installed that in the game because it helps him stand up as a figure, and it makes more sense for him to walk around because something like this, like, it just feasibly can't stand like that. So aside from that, I've already showed you that these little turbine things kind of move up and down on his legs. Those are really awesome as well. I love the detail there. The toes and the feet, before I forget about it, I'm going to show you these feet. There goes his gun again, but it's okay. I'll deal with that later. The foot actually is completely maneuverable as well. Kind of moves in almost any direction here. I'm losing him by the other foot. There we go. So this thing can move around based on what angle you have his foot set at before. Even as something like that, as I was flipping him over, a couple of those pieces from his knee fell off. Those are really on just itty bitty little points, so that's explaining why that happens. So just to give you a visual of how much movement that really is from here, that's a lot. It really is a lot. Now the last thing I want to show you on Rex is something that people tend to complain about the most, which is these really itty bitty little pieces here, supposedly. And I know this camera is not tilted down quite far enough just for us to see them. I'm going to move the gun out of the way so we can see it against a white background. You're supposed to be able to pull that thing out like that. And I kind of don't want to force them too much because, for one, yes, they'll move up and down like so that when Rex is standing firmly against the ground, like there, I had to fix his foot because it wasn't quite flat. You want both of these spike things, they're kind of like that, to match the depth that it would be stabbing into the ground. So one of them's not kind of floating like on my other foot it is right now. Kind of like that. So it's kind of hard to mess with these things. When you put them together yourself, you'll see how difficult it really is to build them. And people break these parts the most, which is what I was going to say. If people complain about Rex, they might be complaining about these parts. And like I said, just be very observant and be very careful. If something feels like you're going to break it because you're forcing it together, just don't do it. Look at it again to spend a lot more time figuring out there is probably a better way to do it. Now, Rex has slowly been falling apart as I have been talking about him today, and yeah, mainly that's because I've been turning him on all sides, showing you exactly how it goes together, and there's so much in here, as you guys have already seen. It's kind of crazy. It really is. It's incredible, the detail that goes into this guy, and I really cannot wait to paint him. And if you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments, and I will show you guys in another video as soon as that happens. But until then, all you Metal Gear fans, you definitely have something really amazing to look forward to on my channel. Like I said, Metal Gear Solid 2 is coming out sometime this week. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more, and I will see you all in the next Metal Gear Solid video. See you.